Morning, everybody. Welcome, Francesco.
Thank you.
And what a year you've had. Going through the list, the BMW PGA Championship, the Quicken Loans, of course, the Open Championship, the big one, the Race to Dubai, and the Arnold Palmer Invitational. I mean, what a performance. Not to mention 5 points. Some of them, of course, shared with Tommy Fleetwood at the great performance that you had at the Ryder Cup.
Yep.
So what a year. To what do you attribute this success?
I think it's just obviously getting on a good run and getting confidence from every win. There's been a lot of work going in the last few years, and sometimes it doesn't pay off straight away. So, yeah, it's taken a while, but obviously now success is coming quite often, and that's a nice feeling. So I'll try to keep working to keep the success coming and win as many tournaments as I can. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so I need to make the most of it.
Okay, well, 36 is still pretty young, huh?
Yeah, well, it's all relative, I guess.
Doug.
Francesco, what do you think suits your game about Augusta National, and what, if anything, doesn't?
I think it's, depends a lot on conditions, obviously, but usually it's a second shot golf course. Obviously, tee shots are important, but not key, probably. Obviously, you can play from the rough. I think it's off the tee, it's important to miss on the good side. Every hole there's a side where most of the time you have a shot to the green, even if you're out of position. And then, second shot. So that should suit my strengths and my game. I think what let me down in the past, obviously, then it's on the greens and around the greens. It's a very tough test because of the speed of the greens and the ondulation. I hope to show the progress that I've made on the greens and around the greens in the last few months and get a good performance in this week.
Was there ever a time when you came to the Masters and were not terribly confident about your chances?
When I was not confident? No, just because, we're competitors and even if you're not playing well at the beginning of the week, you always try to be positive. But I think looking in hindsight now at the years I've played, obviously I can see some things now that I've improved in, especially in the putting, that I wasn't doing so well in the past and that would be costly around here. And as well, I think it's a course that most guys need to play a few times to learn a few tricks and learn how to play a few shots. And hopefully I can use the experience from the last few years this week.
John?
I was just curious about playing off of what Doug said about confidence in the year you've had and winning the Open Championship, Ryder Cup performance, winning Bay Hill. Is your mindset, is your confidence greater right now than it ever has been coming into the Masters? Yeah,
well, clearly I'm in a much different position to, where I was coming in the last few years, and I don't want to deny that, or I can't deny that. And I feel good about my game, but like I was saying, at the beginning of the week, I think pretty much everyone does. Then when you go out there, all majors, but I think here, Augusta especially, they're tough tests, and if you're not on your game, you're gonna pay the price for it. Like I said, with confidence, confidence comes with success, and I've had a lot of success in the last few months, and I think that the important thing is that I don't have to let my guard down. I still have to go through all the work and the process that got me to this point, and hopefully will get me even further forward in my career.
Mark?
What is the current state of golf in Italy? And when you grow up there without a lot of golfing role models, how hard is it to envision, doing what you've done the last few years, how distant do those dreams seem like when you're growing up there?
Yeah, I think fortunately golf is starting to be, very different now to where it was when I was growing up, and dreaming of just purely being here one time and playing in one major would have been already a dream coming true. So fortunately, I had the role model of Costantino Rocca that was doing great and was playing Ryder Cups and doing well in majors. And so obviously that gives you hope that it's doable even if you come from a small golfing country like Italy was at the time. So I think now the situation is a lot better. Obviously, I'm helping a little bit with getting golf in the news, and hopefully, kids will see more and more about me and about golf in general, and pick up the game, and there's going to be more Italians in future. We were just saying, it was nice to see. I think there was 4 or 5 Italian girls playing on Saturday, and Caterina finished tied 12. So they're showing progress, because a few years ago I don't think that would have happened. With Italian golf.
Andrew?
Thank
Yes.
you. Francesco, was your first year here when you caddied for Eduardo? Was that your first time here?
Yeah,
And how was that experience? What did you do that week? Can you remember?
I carried the clubs and prayed that it was gonna hit good shots. It was a fun week. I got here, I think, after missing a cut on the European Tour. It was, I think, only the start of my second season on tour. Just got the full caddy experience, trying to help him out on the course. And it wasn't, it was fun. It was great to be here. It wasn't fun trying to pick clubs for him, and it's a tough course to caddy around. When you stand on the 12th tee, you just hope to make a right decision, but it's really not easy, especially where we both were at the time, where we were very inexperienced at this level, and just trying to make the most of those 2 days, to be honest.
John?
You'd mentioned about work you'd been doing over the years and it's starting to pay off for you. I'm curious, what were you working on most specifically in terms of your game that is paying?
I'm working on every single aspect that I think can improve my game and can make me better. I think in the last definitely 4 or 5 years, I've started to be more pragmatic about myself and my game, and what I needed to improve if I wanted to reach a certain level. And I've surrounded myself with the people that I trust and that I think are going to give me the best advice in anything from nutrition to physical to technical, short game, putting. We try to look at every angle to try and get better.
Please. Go ahead, Juan.
Thank you. Because there's such an emphasis on power, it seems like today, and I forgot which player had said this, that if they were in the last group playing with you or with, say, someone like Brooks Koepka, Brooks might get their attention more just because of his physical capabilities. Do you find that to be, or can you see where that thinking would be? And if so, is there any part of you that takes great pride in knowing how well you can play and beat anybody with what you have? My apologies.
No, I can see the point, obviously, but I think that's one of the things that motivated me a few years ago to work harder and to look at ways to get better. I remember when we played the Open at Royal Liverpool on the Saturday, I played in the last round with Rory and Dustin on, I think it was the third round, yeah. And I just didn't have a chance. I could play as well as I wanted, but I didn't stand a chance. So that was, I think, a big turning point for me. And, it's all about perspective and how you take things. I took it like, if I want to keep doing this job and do it at a high level, I need to work as hard as I can and see if I can get closer to those guys. So what that did for me is that now when I go out, I play with Brooks or Dustin or Rory or whoever you can name, and I'm not really intimidated because I feel like I can compete with them, and even if I'm not hitting the ball 370 yards, I'm hitting it long enough to be competitive and to use my strengths to get good performances in.
Mark?
The way you have improved your short game to get to this level, what has that process been like? How many ups and downs have there been? And how much of it was adjusting to different types of greens and green speeds, particularly here in America?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of many things. Obviously, I worked with many different guys on my short game in the past. And, it wasn't like I wasn't working on my short game before 3 or 4 years ago. I think you learn a little bit from everyone, and if you're smart enough, then you get to a point where you try to gel everything together. And so that's why I say, it's been a long process. For me, it's always been the case not of trying one thing, and if it doesn't work, just throw in the bin. It's been learning little by little from all the different instructors I've had, and then it's trial and error. Obviously, yeah, some things work, some don't, and you need to be smart and lucky to I think, pick the right things. And even if they don't work straight away, if you think they're going to make you better, just keep at it and keep doing. And at some point, you're going to get the benefits from it. And another element was definitely coming to play more in the States. The conditions are different, from what we grew up playing in Italy and in Europe in general. So I think when you put yourself out of your comfort zone, you're always going to learn something new.
Dan? Sorry. Yes.
Buongiorno Francesco. What about the fifth hole, the new fifth hole? A proposito, hai provato già la nuova quinta buca allungata?
In Italian or in English?
Okay, both.
English, don't worry. Slowly.
Yes, I played yesterday the front nine, played the new fifth hole, and it's because they moved the bunkers back as well. The tee shot is pretty much the same shot. The second shot obviously is longer, considerably longer. So yesterday was playing into the wind, and probably with the old tee we would have been hitting 7 iron in, and we were hitting 4 iron in yesterday. So I think there's going to be around a 3 club difference, and the green is a little bit different. I think there's a possibility to put a new flag on the left. So, but yeah, I think on TV it will look very, very similar to how it was. It will be hard for people watching on TV to notice the difference.
Thanks, Massimo. Doug?
Have you played with Tiger at the Masters or just caddied in his group?
I haven't played with him here in Augusta, no.
Okay, I'm just curious, and I know that was a long time ago in 06, but is there a difference, do you think, with the kind of the circus and the activity that goes with Tiger when you're playing with him? Is it different, do you think, at Augusta National, just by the way it's run in terms of having more space to yourself inside, fewer cameras, photographers, et cetera? Is there a difference?
It's a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little bit calmer again, in relative terms to what it is playing with him. But I guess it depends as well if it's going to be maybe Sunday afternoon in one of the last few groups. It might get a little more noisy and excited, but I think in general it's a little bit calmer than in most other places. Yeah.
Mark, and then Mark.
you were probably about 12 when Roca and John Daly had that playoff at St. Andrews. What do you remember watching about that? Where were you, and how excited were you watching that?
Yeah, I remember watching it with my brother. We were in Sestriere, which is like a holiday place in the mountains close to our hometown in Turin. I think we were playing golf during the day, and then some point in the afternoon we rushed into a kind of a restaurant that had the a TV with golf on, and watched it, and yeah, very, very exciting. Obviously, great joy when he made the putt on 18, and then a little bit disappointed as fans when he didn't win the playoff. But yeah, it was great inspiration. Like I said before, watching him there, watching him. I remember winning at Wentworth. At the time, he was finishing on Monday, and we came home after school and we managed to watch like last couple of holes. And it's all stuff that makes you love the game even more and makes you try even harder to get here.
Dan.
Francesco, speaking of putts on 18, you've hit some big ones. I'm going back to the 27 PGA at Quail Hollow. You were kind of in the mix there, and I think you had a long par putt on 18, correct? And making that was a pretty big putt at the time. I think it kind of kept you in the mix. If Justin faded down the stretch, which he didn't, do you ever go back to that? Was that a help on your putt at, say, Bay Hill, or your putt on the Open Championship to seal it? Do you think, was that a big putt for you, the putt on 18 at Quail Hollow?
Yeah, it was definitely at the time, because like you said, the finishing at Quail Hollow is quite difficult, and I thought par gave me, on the 18th, gave me half a chance to maybe get into a playoff or something like that. But I think, every part is different. Obviously, the more parts with that sort of pressure you have, I think that the more you learn again, and the more, when you have it again in future, the best chance you have of making it. In general, I think that was a big week for me to see that I could compete in majors, and it was probably the first step to get closer to winning than last year at the Open. Yeah.
And just a quick follow-up: when the pressure does get on, when you're coming down the back final few holes and the pressure is really amped up, do you tell yourself, this is when I play better, or you just tell yourself, let's go through the normal process, I'm just going to, continue playing as I'm doing? Or do you feel kind of inside, this is when I start to play better? Like, what's your mindset there?
No, the mindset is to keep doing what I'm doing and focus on the process and making all the processes I have out there with my caddy even more specific and more precise. But then, yeah, I love to be obviously in those situations, and I think we all do, to be honest. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't, but that's why we work so hard. That's why we play, is to be in those situations and to have those parts, or, play those last few holes under that pressure.
Francesco, on behalf of all of us here, I want to thank you for spending time with us. And on behalf of all the members at Augusta National, we wish you the best this week.
Appreciate it.
Look forward
Thanks
to
a lot.
Great week with you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.